Imagine a man whose soul is deeply torn between the strict, unforgiving doctrines of his Catholic upbringing and an obsessive, almost voyeuristic fascination with the brutal, bloody reality of the criminal underworld. He is a small, bespectacled filmmaker who spends his life exploring the darkest, most violent corners of the human psyche, yet he is driven by a profound, desperate search for spiritual salvation. This is not a fictional character from one of his gritty crime epics, but the actual, unvarnished reality of a man who transformed the neon-lit, blood-stained streets of his childhood into the ultimate canvas for modern cinema. His journey from a sickly, isolated boy in post-war New York to the undisputed patriarch of American filmmaking is a masterclass in artistic obsession, proving that the most beautiful masterpieces are often born from the deepest personal demons. To understand his legacy is to understand the very soul of modern cinema, a landscape forever altered by a director who treats the camera not just as a recording device, but as a weapon, a confessional, and a path to redemption. The genesis of this extraordinary cinematic vision began in the autumn of 1942 in the vibrant, working-class neighborhood of Flushing, Queens, in New York City. Born into a deeply devout, Italian-American Catholic family, his early environment was defined by the strict moral codes of the church and the gritty, bustling reality of the city streets. His parents were hard-working garment pressers, and the family lived a modest, unpretentious life. However, his childhood was profoundly shaped by a severe case of asthma, a physical condition that frequently confined him to his bed and isolated him from the rough-and-tumble play of his peers. In this state of forced confinement, his father introduced him to the magical, flickering world of the local movie theaters. The cinema became his sanctuary, a place where his physical limitations dissolved into the boundless landscapes of the silver screen. He was mesmerized by the sweeping epics, the musicals, and the gritty noir films, absorbing the visual language of the masters and developing an obsessive, encyclopedic knowledge of film history that would later become the foundation of his own directorial style. This early, intense passion for the medium led him to pursue formal education in filmmaking, first at Cardinal Hayes Boys Seminary and eventually at the prestigious Tisch School of the Arts at New York University. It was here that he transitioned from a devoted film student to a relentless, uncompromising artist. He immersed himself in the technical aspects of filmmaking, studying under legendary instructors and absorbing the influences of global cinema, particularly the neorealism of Italy and the bold, kinetic styles of the French New Wave. During his university years, he directed a series of highly influential short films that showcased his raw, unpolished talent and his deep understanding of urban alienation. These early projects caught the attention of the industry, leading to his first feature-length productions, which, while struggling to find a wide audience, demonstrated his unique ability to capture the authentic, pulsating rhythm of city life and the complex, often contradictory nature of his characters. The true breakthrough in his career arrived when he finally secured the funding and creative freedom to translate his personal vision to the screen with a gritty, semi-autobiographical crime drama set in the very streets of his youth. This film was a revelation, introducing audiences to a raw, unvarnished portrayal of low-level mobsters grappling with their Catholic guilt, their violent impulses, and their desperate need for respect. It established his signature visual and thematic trademarks, including the use of popular music to drive the narrative, the kinetic, fluid camera movements, and the deep exploration of loyalty and betrayal. This monumental success paved the way for his next project, a dark, psychological descent into the mind of a deeply disturbed, isolated veteran navigating the decaying, dangerous landscape of a metropolis. This masterpiece of urban paranoia was a cultural earthquake, capturing the anxiety, the alienation, and the simmering rage of a fractured society. It cemented his status as a generational talent, earning him his first major international accolades and forever changing the trajectory of American independent cinema. However, the path to cinematic immortality was fraught with intense personal and professional struggles. Following the massive, overwhelming success of his urban thriller, he attempted to direct a lavish, highly personal musical drama that was a critical and commercial disaster. The failure plunged him into a deep depression, exacerbated by severe health issues and a growing dependence on substances. It was his closest collaborator, a fiercely dedicated actor, who had become his cinematic alter ego, who pulled him back from the brink. Together, they embarked on a grueling, physically and emotionally exhausting project based on the life of a deeply flawed, violently aggressive middleweight boxing champion. The production was a nightmare of logistical challenges, but the resulting film was an absolute triumph of visual storytelling and psychological depth. The stark, high-contrast cinematography, the brutal, unflinching boxing sequences, and the profound exploration of jealousy, self-destruction, and the desperate quest for spiritual redemption created a cinematic experience that is widely regarded as one of the greatest achievements in the history of the medium. As the decades progressed, he solidified his reputation as the undisputed master of the American gangster genre, continually reinventing the formula and pushing the boundaries of narrative structure and visual style. He directed a sprawling, hyperkinetic epic that chronicled the rise and fall of a mob associate over several decades, utilizing groundbreaking editing techniques, rapid-fire voiceovers, a phenomenal soundtrack, and a relentless, dizzying pace that made the audience feel the intoxicating allure and the inevitable, bloody consequences of the criminal life. This film completely redefined the gangster epic, stripping away the romanticized mythology of the mafia and replacing it with a raw, chaotic, and deeply human portrayal of greed, paranoia, and betrayal. He continued to explore the dark underbelly of organized crime with a lavish, visually stunning epic set in the glittering, high-stakes world of casino gambling, delivering a masterful, cautionary tale about the corrupting influence of absolute power and the fragility of human relationships in the face of overwhelming temptation. His directorial style is a fascinating, deeply personal synthesis of technical brilliance and profound thematic exploration. He is a master of the long, fluid tracking shot, using the camera to immerse the audience directly into the chaotic, vibrant environments of his films, whether it is a crowded nightclub, a bustling casino floor, or a dangerous street corner. His use of music is equally revolutionary, juxtaposing classical compositions with classic rock and roll to create a powerful, ironic, and deeply emotional counterpoint to the on-screen violence and drama. At the core of all his work lies a deep, inescapable Catholic guilt, a profound exploration of sin, punishment, and the elusive nature of grace. His characters are almost always deeply flawed, morally ambiguous individuals trapped in a cycle of violence and self-destruction, desperately searching for redemption that may never come. This unique blend of spectacular visual flair, relentless pacing, and deep spiritual inquiry has made his films not just entertaining, but profoundly moving and intellectually stimulating. Despite his immense critical acclaim and his undeniable influence on generations of filmmakers, the ultimate recognition from his peers in the form of an Academy Award for Best Director eluded him for decades. It was not until he directed a gritty, intense thriller about an undercover police operation within an Irish-American mob in Boston that he finally secured the coveted prize. This film showcased his ability to adapt to a new setting while maintaining his signature thematic depth and visual intensity, proving that his creative fire was as strong as ever. In the years that followed, he continued to diversify his portfolio, directing a visually breathtaking, family-friendly adventure that paid homage to the early days of cinema, a dark, hilarious, and deeply controversial satire of Wall Street excess that reunited him with his modern cinematic muse, and a sprawling, historical epic that explored the brutal, bloody origins of New York City. Each project demonstrated his relentless curiosity, his technical mastery, and his refusal to be confined by the expectations of his audience or the industry. Beyond his monumental achievements as a director, his contribution to the preservation of global cinematic history is equally profound and enduring. Recognizing the severe deterioration of classic film prints and the threat posed by the transition to digital formats, he founded a non-profit organization dedicated to restoring and preserving endangered motion picture history. This initiative has rescued thousands of films from oblivion, ensuring that the masterpieces of the past remain accessible to future generations. He is a tireless advocate for the theatrical experience, arguing passionately that the true magic of cinema can only be fully realized in the darkened sanctuary of a movie theater, surrounded by a communal audience. His lifelong dedication to the art form has elevated him from a mere filmmaker to a revered historian, a guardian of the medium, and a profound philosophical voice in the ongoing debate about the intersection of art, technology, and human culture. The legacy of this extraordinary artist is permanently etched into the very DNA of global cinema. He took the raw, unpolished elements of his own life, his faith, his guilt, and his love for the streets of his youth, and forged them into a body of work that is as visually spectacular as it is emotionally devastating. He has navigated the intense pressures of the Hollywood system, survived devastating personal and professional failures, and consistently evolved his craft to stay relevant in an ever-changing industry. From the sickly, isolated boy watching movies in a darkened theater to the undisputed patriarch of American filmmaking, his journey is the ultimate testament to the power of artistic obsession. He did not just direct movies, he captured the soul of a nation, exploring the darkest, most violent, and most beautiful corners of the human condition with an unflinching, uncompromising vision. His films will continue to challenge, provoke, and inspire audiences for all of eternity, a timeless reminder of the profound, transformative power of the cinematic art form.